definition of privilege is that it's a special right or a particular advantage that a person or a group of people have. Most individuals, myself included, like to keep our personal privileges invisible. We like to hold them close to our chest and not share them. In fact, a lot of people won't even admit that they have special privileges. And yet, human nature, myself included, we are very easily swayed to see the privileges that other people have. We can see them, but we can't see our own. And I don't understand why that is. Privilege seems like a pretty positive thing. I like to have privilege. It's a privilege to be here today. It's a privilege to make your acquaintance. I'm privileged to have the opportunity to fill in the blank. It's a privilege to have privilege. It's all good stuff. But I see that if we add another word in front of the word privilege, it can change the entire meaning. If we put the word white or male, Christian, heterosexual or homosexual, American or educated in front of the word privilege, it changes the whole dynamic of it. Nothing can escalate conversation's tone faster or higher than when the phrase white privilege is mentioned. Been there, done that, ugly. Think about Newton's third law, the one we commonly think about. For every reaction there is an equal and opposite reaction. If we put that in the context of privilege, for anyone receiving a privilege, there is someone else having an equal and opposite privilege being taken away. One receives and one gives up. One advances and one moves backwards. It all comes down to a matter of justice and truth within our society. It comes down to a blatant abuse of power. And we all know that the more power we have, the more power we try to grab, the more power we try to assert on others. This philosophy just doesn't apply to Americans, or to males, or to Christians. This abuse of power infiltrates all cultures, all races, all sexes, all creeds. We hear in the Bible from Moses and from the prophets, and from Job and from Jesus, to always be on the side of the powerless. And yet our culture places all its focus on power, on money, on war. How do we overcome it? How do we tear down the systems that we've built for generations, for centuries, for millennia? Richard Rohr, Franciscan priest, suggests a contemplative practice of prayer to dip deep into our unconscious and change at the deep levels where all the wounds and anger and recognitions lie hidden. He says that prayer that's too verbal, too social, too external, or too heady never change people at the level where they need to be. Only a prayer of quiet, a prayer of deep reflection, will put us in touch with our own personal truths. Only when we accept our personal truths can we begin to bring about justice. When we stop focusing on power and on possessions and on the idolatry of celebrities and athletes, and when we stop focusing on war, we will begin to focus on the needs of each other, the actual love of equality of each and every person. And only then can we begin to level the playing field of privilege, where everyone is privileged.